Okay. So, there is a medium-sized town in the south of Gisnep called Kammio. The details of the town aren't very important for today's game. All that's relevant for today is this. The town has recently built a new event hall, and to celebrate its opening, they're throwing a Halloween costume party that's free for anyone to attend. So the four of you find yourselves standing in front of a large building strewn in fake cobwebs and other festive decorations, with a large banner reading Halloween Costume Party hanging above the doors. A pair of toons dressed as a headless horse rider and a witch are greeting the guests as they enter. So, my name is Zen, I'm your DM for the day, and now if all the players would like to introduce themselves, their character, the costume their character is wearing to this party, and how they came to be here tonight.
Well, I guess I'll go first since I'm on the top of the list. The curse of being angel. Ah!
I feel ya.
Okay, so hi universe, my name's Angel. I just plain got lucky and asked to be invited, and Zen was gracious enough to let me in.
No, how your character got here. Your character and how your character got here.
Sorry. Well, most likely my character is currently wandering around the whole of Inkel, just trying to have a good time, seeing all the parties, probably saw the flyers out and went, okay, that sounds better than my last party, let's go.
And your character's name and their costume for this party?
My character's name is Lucy Armstrong. She is a College of Whispers bard, and her costume is a mix of Dr. Facilier from The Princess and the Frog, a steampunk mad scientist, and probably whatever jazz-related knickknacks she can throw in without anybody looking.
Nice.
Yes.
Who's next in the order?
I don't know who.
I don't know. Will, do you want to go next?
Sure, I can go next. Hello, everybody. My name is Whirlwind Gale, or just Gale if you're short on time, or just Whirl if you prefer that over it. I really don't care. And I'm going to be playing Miss Lethologica Beckford, who is attending this party dressed as a wind-up doll. And the way she heard about this party is probably, well, Lethy is a lawyer. She's a defense attorney, so she probably, had one of her clients who was just like, hey, you did me a solid, here's a way you can have fun, there's this costume party going on, and she realizes that she needs to get out of the house more, so she asked for some help around her hometown of Halloween Town to put together a costume, and now she's here.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
And her costume, do you want to... I don't know if you specified in that introduction, sorry.
I did. I said she dressed up as a steampunk
Oh, she did. I gotta get my brain focusing on the present, sorry.
You're fine.
Caffeine required.
It's good. Alright, I'll go now. Hi, I am playing Popsi. And he's dressed as a vampire currently. I'm gonna post a picture. And he saw like a flyer for his costume party, and he does have like a bunch of other costumes. He took this as an excuse to buy another. So he did that, and now he's going to this costume party to 1, get snacks, 2, maybe one up any performers there because he's like that.
is my
Yes.
turn?
Yep, it's your
Okay,
turn, Teru.
All right. Today I'm playing Poko, my girl. She I imagine that like one day while she was just minding her own business, doing her own thing, a paper smacked her in the face with like on the wind, just smacked her in the face, and she found it, and it was like an invitation to this party, and she's like, "Wow, I don't know where this came from," and then she decided to go. So this is what she looks like for today's party.
She's so precious.
The thing is that she doesn't really have an idea of how Halloween works, so she kind of just slapped together her own actual clothes and said, "This is a costume. This is a costume."
Aww.
Baby, Your Honor.
Yeah,
Extremely
she-
baby.
Oh,
it's fun because every time you see her walk, you just hear the faintest noise of click 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 click.
Your Honor, I love her.
Yes, she's adorable and I love her.
Y'all realize we're gonna have to protect the duck, right?
We are now the Duck Protection Squad.
I don't know
You
how.
You
I
are
don't know
now
how.
legally obligated to protect the baby.
We are
But
now
the thing
legally
is that-
obligated to protect the baby.
Let they make the contract.
I don't
She's a
know.
defense attorney, not a contract lawyer, but sure.
I don't know how much Popsi would like look after her because I mean he is a teenager, so I mean you know how it goes.
Mhm. It's
Okay,
not cool
so-
to care when you're a teenager.
Okay, but one question. I know what my character class is. What about the rest of you guys?
Oh yeah, I probably should say that I am a College of Spirits bard.
Hey, 2 bards.
Yeah.
Popsi is a barbarian.
So everyone starts with VAR except for me, because Lethy is a warlock of memory lane.
2 bards, a barbarian, and a warlock all went into a party. Let's see what happens next.
Bar, 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 war.
All right, before we get on that note, so the 4 of you walk in through the doors. The 2 tunes at the doors sort of greet you and welcome you to the party. You get the sense they're working as volunteers at this event, so they're sort of staffed to keep an eye on everyone here. So they basically say, "Wish you a happy Halloween," and invite you in. And inside of the building, there is a large open room that is festively decorated with streamers and balloons, and also fake cobwebs and paper cutouts of things like ghosts and spiders. There are some tables along the back wall that have bowls of candy and various seasonal treats. And then in the corners of the room, there are some different activities. Like one corner has people bobbing for apples, one corner has people carving pumpkins. There's a photo booth. So, all in all, about what you'd expect to see from a sort of community Halloween party. And before I finish the description and let y'all loose, we talked, and Lethy has a ability as a result of her pact, which is an internal countdown. And Lethy's countdown is at about 20 minutes right now. So, with that fun detail dropped in, what would you like to do at this party?
Goodness.
Well, yeah, party without music. Lucy's gonna whip out her trumpet and she is going to do a very good rendering of Grim Grinning Ghosts.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to roll performance for that?
Let me just look at my performance and. Okay, this better be good. Let's see. Do I do a d20 for this?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
D20 plus your performance.
Okay. Well, first roll of the night. Let's hope it's good. Boop. Oh, you have
12.
got to be kidding.
It could have been
It is-
worse.
Rich?
Could have been worse. Could have been
But-
worse. You're doing good.
It could have been. Oh my gosh, a +7. Yeah, it could have been a little worse, but it could have been better.
Ugh.
I think
It is above average though, so
it
yeah,
is.
points for that.
So I think how that plays out is that the song, it's pretty good, but also there are already like a fair number of people and tunes like in the room milling about, conversing with each other. I think someone else might be playing music in another corner. So it's like the music is pretty good. It's just that it kind of isn't loud enough to be heard over the sounds of like the crowd.
Lucy's gonna look at her horn, shake it out, and grumble, I should have cleaned it off after the Alps business. Reference to her last adventure.
Mm-hmm.
For Popsi, he's gonna make a beeline for the snack. And when he gets there, he's not gonna eat any. Instead, he's gonna start stashing it away in his hammer space.
Snack thief.
So if it's okay, can I roll a d20 to determine how much he takes?
Sure, go for it. Just a straight D20, or do you want to roll sleight of hand?
Well,
It's
is there like a
okay.
sign that says like how many to take, or is it just take any amount?
I mean, there's various things on this table. I'd imagine you could take like more pieces of candy than you could like Halloween themed cupcakes, or there's probably like a pumpkin pie somewhere in an apple pie, and it's like taking an entire pie would be equivalent to like taking a bowl of candy or something. This could be a lot of different things depending on what on the table you're trying to grab.
Are there like bite-sized chocolate?
Yeah,
You know,
there's probably like a few very large bowls of like trick or treat style candy where it's like the fun size bars that you would hand out to trick or treaters.
Yeah,
So
he's taking bad and stashing it away. So let's see how many he takes. He
8.
takes 8. Okay. All right.
I feel like that's a good handful, but
Yeah.
not a super impressive number. But you have a good few pieces of candy now for later. It seems.
He's not gonna eat it, but yeah.
He's not gonna eat it ever? Or
No.
just not right now?
He's not ever gonna eat it.
It's candy for bribery.
Funky candy stuck in your hammer space.
Oh no. Imagine having like taffy seal your hammer space shut. That would be so bad.
That sounds like
But,
it could be like a cursed item. You should submit that to Grubs or something.
So Popsi, is it the name? Popsi.
Yeah.
Popsi, I would like to say you do see this very, very small American Girl doll sized little ducky like try to like reach for any of the snacks, but her little like wing arm is like so like it's just touching nothing.
Aww.
Oh, she's baby.
She's too short to reach the table.
Oh, well, seeing that Popsy is going to like pick up the bowl and kind of like put it to her height, but at the same time, it's gonna seem like he does not care. Like,
So like as you do that, you bring the bowl to her. She does the equivalent of when you see a duck like eat peas. It just like goes everywhere. And like
I love this duck.
and like when she's done, half the bowl's contents are on the floor.
Oh my gosh.
Chaos duck.
Everything with duck.
She looks up and she winds up her she like reaches behind her back and like kind of struggles, and she like you see she actually winds up this kind of bulky looking key on her back, and as she lets go, you hear it go, "Oh, thank you," and before she just waddles away into the party.
congratulations, you I'm confused. Popsy. Like, what just happened?
Chaos duck.
Only a good duck is a chaos duck.
To be fair, she ate a flute last game.
A flute?
Sorry, she did what?
She ate a cursed flute.
Okay then. I guess that leaves me. After having her moment of, oh god, why do I hear boss music? And just kind of like quietly mumbling to herself about, nothing can ever be a nice day, can it? We can't ever just have a nice normal event. Lethy is going to, Lethy's just gonna socialize, honestly. She's gonna go walk around, compliment people on their costumes, etc.
You're making me feel guilty, and we haven't even gotten to the bulk of it yet. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, Lethy. You'll get to go to a normal party someday, but not today.
Oh no.
You know what? At least she's not getting accused of murder this time.
Wait, what?
Yet.
Oh my god.
The night is still young. You don't know.
Oh god.
You never know. It could be like the murder on the Owl Express all over again.
God,
Oh,
please no. Please no.
Popsy fucking dies. I'm sorry, I spoiled it all for you.
Roll for new characters.
Popsy is fucking dead. Rest in peace.
Oh no.
He had a heart attack after witnessing Duck.
The power of Duck was too much for him. He dropped
Alright.
dead on the spot and was found 3 hours later.
Well, vampires are supposed to be undead.
Everyone thought he was just a Halloween prop and just ignored his body lying there.
Chocolate melting out of his pockets.
Then imagine this game as a train, and we're currently derailing it. We're currently
Yes!
taking the rails off the track.
Yes!
There was tracks to begin with.
There are tracks. I have notes. But I wanted to let y'all have some fun first. I mean, the rest of the game will be fun, but you know, you get to have all your characters get to have about 20 minutes of just normal Halloween fun at this normal Halloween party. You know, Popsy gets some snacks, Poko gets some snacks. Lethy gets to meet some new people. And then as Lethy's countdown timer reaches 0, a wave of magic passes over the room, sweeping through the assembled crowd in seconds. And when it passes, you all feel a bit odd. So Popsi, you're dressed as a vampire, and that fake fang that you have in your mouth feels a lot less flimsy and fake than it did a moment ago. Lucy, you're dressed as like a mad scientist type witch doctor type thing, and it's maybe an outfit that you wouldn't have chosen to wear on a normal day, but right now it's feeling very natural to you. Lethy, dressed as a wind-up doll, you're pretty sure that the fake wind-up key you're wearing on your back shouldn't actually be clicking and turning as you move. And Poko, you're pretty sure that the key on your back should be turning. But it's frozen in place. So you can all hear the other guests begin to cry out from various points in the room, questioning and alarmed voices alike, raising in volume, as everyone realizes those costumes you were wearing are no longer costumes.
Oh boy.
So, how are your characters? Yeah.
Since like a part of Popsy's costume is the bunny ear hood, and fun fact, he doesn't actually have bunny ears. Does that mean now he has ears?
You are now vernacular.
I'm leaving that up to you. If you want him to actually have bunny ears under the hood now, then he can.
Congratulations. He's vaguely lagomorph.
Oh,
vernacular. He's going to drain some asparagus now.
Okay. So while I'm sending you guys some stuff, what are your characters' reactions to finding out that they've turned into whatever they were dressed as?
Why do I suddenly feel a strong urge for lightning?
You do see Poko very, very obviously struggling to turn her key on her back.
Lethy will walk over and turn it for her, all the while, Lethy actually, like, ticks and clicks normally. Like, that's just ambient sound around her, is the sound of clockwork. Right now, it sounds like whatever internal mechanisms she has are just whirring at light speed, trying to figure out what the heck is going on? Why are my hands made of porcelain? Why does this, why?
So as you try to turn Poko's key, it's actually sort of, you can't turn it. It's sort of the key, which was previously like metal and separate from the rest of Poko, is porcelain, and sort of the same piece of porcelain as the rest of Poko, because Poko has become porcelain doll. So
I'm gonna say, the Popsi at first doesn't notice. Like, he notices people freaking out, and he's like, what's going on? And then he feels the bunny ears twitch on him. And he's like, oh no.
Wait,
Sorry.
doesn't Popsi also have a tail now?
He's always had a tail. So
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
And I've sent. Sorry.
Yeah. Do you want to say, or should I?
What, the files I sent all you guys? Yeah, so I've sent you all some things. So for the duration of this game, while you guys are turned into your costumes, you have some special abilities that come with what you've been turned into, and also some downsides. So, those are all things that you can use for the course of this game, and things that you might have to deal with as well. And you're free You're free to read them out if you'd like to. I would rather not read through the entirety of all 4 sheets out loud myself, but if there's anything you guys want to remark on, you're free to.
I think I better read mine because it sounds useful and yet dangerous. So apparently, I have now been granted ability Scientific Frenzy. As a bonus action, you let out a mad scientist's cackle. For the next 10 minutes, you have advantage on any intelligence-based skill checks as your brain kicks into gear. However, you're too caught up in the fervor of your own brilliance to stop and think if you're actually coming up with good ideas. You roll all wisdom-based skill checks at a disadvantage for the duration. This could be good or this could be bad because I made Lucy with intelligence and wisdom as dump stats.
Oh no.
I just realized
The brain cells have gone out the window.
And a promising experiment. As an action, you can attempt to pull a potion from your hammer space. On a successful hammer space roll, you can retrieve an experimental elixir. This is an artificer thing, which I don't know. Someone's gonna have to help me out with that.
I copy pasted the table into the document for it. So basically,
Okay.
like when you pull out the potion, you roll a d6 and it gives like a random beneficial effect.
Alrighty. However, you can only pull out 3 of these potions each day due to the unstable nature of their potions. They lose their effectiveness and become useless within 24 hours when they're retrieved. So there you go. And anytime I fumble a hammer space roll, the first item you retrieve from your hammer space is a vial of experimental chemicals that immediately explodes, dealing 1d6 of acid damage to yourself. All other creatures within a 5-foot radius must succeed on a DC 15 dexterity check or take same damage. Subsequent hammer space fumbles in the same chain are rolled normally with no risk of pulling out another exploding vial. So there you go.
Sounds fun.
Okay. Should I read mine next?
You can read them out if you'd like to. I've also put the Google Docs into the game zone if anyone's curious to look at each other's or if the audience wants to look. Although,
Well, I'm gonna read
probably
mine
look into
out.
the recording. Hell yeah, go for it.
Alright, so first one up is Fragile Nature. Porcelain is hard but brittle. Projectiles have trouble finding a weak point in your body. You have resistance to piercing damage. However, porcelain has the tendency to crack and shatter when it's hit. You are vulnerable to bludgeoning damage. And then there's rubber and glue. When you are the target of a spell, you can use your reaction to absorb it and store the spell instead of being affected by it. As an action, you can release the spell so it dissipates or cast it at a new target. Roll a Constitution save when directing or releasing the spell. On a 12 or below, take half the spell's damage, or 1d6 if the spell deals no damage, as the unfamiliar spell proves too much for you to handle and your porcelain cracks. You can only store 1 spell at a time in this manner, and the spells stored this way only last for 24 hours. You can use this ability 3 times per long rest. And then the last one, Smiles All Around. As a children's toy, dolls are predisposed towards keeping everyone happy and cheerful. When any creature within 30 feet of you appears to be severely distressed or take 8 or more points of damage from a single attack, roll a wisdom saving throw. On 11 or below, you are compelled to approach the most despondent person within 30 feet of you in an attempt to cheer them up, whether friend or foe. The wisdom saving throw can be re-rolled at the end of each of your turns. Otherwise, your mind clears when your target appears to be in better condition or attacks you or your allies.
And I have to thank Blaze for helping me come up with that one. Blaze sort of helped look over looked at all of these and really helped me come up with a lot of the stuff for Poko, because, like, I was having trouble thinking of neat stuff for dolls to do, so thank you to Blaze for helping.
Yay!
Yay, thanks, Blaze.
We love you.
Blaze is a good egg.
I love eggs.
I don't really want to read mine out loud, if that's okay.
That's fine.
That's fine.
Yeah, same here.
But Lethy is going to look around and just kind of blink, and then kind of look to the nearest person who looks like they might have been to a Halloween party before and ask, pardon, is this not what normally happens at Halloween parties? I was not informed that this was on the roster.
I don't think this was planned. I mean, I guess I should have checked. They probably would have told us if this was planned, right? And as you're having that conversation, you hear a much louder voice cut through the buzz of confusion and distress in the room, as someone is calling out very loudly, everyone, please calm down so we can figure this all out. And if you look in the direction...
Definitely not planned.
So if you look in the direction of the voice, which is sort of near the front door, you will see a carved jack-o'-lantern which is being held aloft above the crowd. And the face on it might be familiar, because that's the same sort of pumpkin that the event staff at the door that greeted you as you came in was wearing, except then it was like made of paper mache, and now it's an actual pumpkin, and the mouth on it is moving as the voice calls out again and says, this wasn't planned, but we're going to find out what caused it and fix it, I promise. If anyone here is willing to help us look into this, please come talk to me, but otherwise, stay put and stay calm, and we're working on a solution.
Well, this ain't a party I was expecting. Lucy's gonna follow the pumpkin and comment that he smells slightly delicious. Did you put cinnamon in there, or is this some sort of funky after effect of, floating head thingy?
The headless horse rider sort of pulls their pumpkin head back down. They had been like holding it aloft to shout over the crowd, and then they pulled it back down to be at head height, and they're like, I honestly don't know. I can't really smell right now. This was paper mache 2 minutes ago, so it might just be the magic.
That's true. Maybe I can help you with that. I mean, attach it. No, wait, no, stop it. Stop it. No. Sorry. Not my forte. Let's just carry on.
All right. Are you...
Roll real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Lethy is also
What are you
going
rolling?
to approach the headless horseman person. Just like, hello, apparently this was not on the evening roster of activities. Would you like assistance? Wait, what was that? And she kind of taps her throat because, her voice is not supposed to do that thing.
The headless horse rider person does not seem to... is very much just like, oh yes, assistance would be greatly appreciated, yes. Kammio is not really home to many of the adventuring type of people, so it would be really great to have someone who actually volunteers to help.
Well, I'm game. I mean, I was up for a party, not science. So that really sounds good. Wait, no, stop it. Stop it. And Lucy briefly slaps herself. Sorry, it's getting really hard to, think straight without thinking about weird stuff. Sorry.
No worries there. Sorry.
You do see Poko very slowly approach the headless horseman, like looking very distressed, a little scared, and like you actually do see like tears forming her eyes, but as they fall to the ground, they like kind of plink, like as if it were like a sort of like porcelain object rather than actual liquid.
Oh my god.
And
Baby.
Baby.
and she's just like you see her like very quietly like point to her wind up key, and she just like looks very distressed and sad.
Oh, wait. Let me take a look at this. And Lucy's gonna just squat down and try and poke at the key a bit.
Do you want to roll investigation?
Yee, okay, sure. See. Oh, this could be bad.
Real quick, while you're doing investigation, do you mind if I roll hammer space to pull out a handkerchief to give to sad duck baby?
Go for it.
Plus.
Okay. Letty kind of pauses, reaches into the pocket of her skirts, and pulls out a little handkerchief embroidered with little gears and a lantern, and hands it to Poko and is like, There, don't cry. Everything is all right.
Poko like takes the handkerchief and dabs her little face with it and gives it back, and you notice that it's completely dry.
Oh boy. And I don't think I discovered anything with that roll.
Oh.
No, with a 4, it's all porcelain, and that's all you can tell. It's just everything other than Poco's clothes is just porcelain.
Oh, I'm assuming this ain't normal, is it?
Poko looks like around, like kind of like having a hard time, and then she thinks a little bit, and then she casts I believe. Okay, let me just read this. Sorry. She casts prestidigitation to try to write no on the ground. It looks like crayon scribbles.
Aww.
I feel really bad. I didn't mean to make Poko so distraught. I've hurt the baby.
All right. This ain't gonna work. Does anybody have a pencil and piece of paper for the poor lady?
I might have something. And we're gonna roll hammer space again. 3 is above a 1, so I think that works, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Letty reaches into her pocket, pulls out a little leather-bound notebook and a pencil, and holds it out.
There we go. Now, at least we can be on the same page. Sorry.
When Poko takes the pen and paper, you hear like immediately start scribbling a whole bunch of stuff, and for the most part it looks like chicken scratch or duck scratch if you prefer. But like what you're able to determine, like when it comes to the words that you can read are things like key, talk, can't, speak.
Oh. So I'm guessing when your key works, you can talk. And
more duck scratching later, and the only words you can tell are wind, manual, speak.
Okay, this ain't gonna be good.
Oh dear, I did not know this. I was like, So we have two possibilities here. Two possible ways forward. And Teru, you tell me which one you want to go with. So what I was picturing was that Poko's key is frozen into place, but she's working just fine without it at the moment.
It's not that she needs to keep winding it to go, it's that she needs to wind it to speak.
Oh my gosh, I did not realize that. I was thinking that turning into a porcelain doll means no longer needing to wind. But if it needs to be wound to speak and you want to stick with that, well, Letty hasn't rolled investigation yet, so
I can do that.
maybe
Letty
she
would
can
actually
find
be good at
something.
that. She would be good at that. She knows how to work with antiques. But what's up? What's your take on it, Teru?
I think in the best course of action is probably finding a voice box to put in her throat.
Oh. So you need like a voice box or something. Well, upon hearing that, Popsi, in all his need to prove himself and kind of show off, he walks up and says, "I can probably make that.
Can you now?
Make a voice box."
Again, more scribbling and scribbling and scribbling and scribbling. Flip the page, scribbling. You cannot read what it says.
Well, that might not be a bad idea. If I do say so.
I can provide materials if you need them.
What kind of materials do you got?
Time for another hammer space roll.
Oh,
Lucy's gonna hammer space roll too, see if she can dig something useful out.
Letty kind of digs through her pockets for a bit and winds up pulling out like a bunch of old scrap metal and music box parts and clock parts because she works with antiques in her spare time.
Mm-hmm. I'm assuming Lucy's gonna pull out what essentially is parts to repair a trumpet out of her own hammer space. I don't know if this stuff is gonna be any useful, but I don't know, you're the tinker. What do you think?
It might work. We gotta see first, of course. And I'm gonna roll an Arcana because but it's the same as my intelligence score, so may as well. That's a 7. Oh no.
Oh no. These parts can sure make sound. You're not sure if they could make a voice though. You're not sure how to fit them together to make coherent speech.
It's not gonna stop Popsi. He's gonna try to make it into some sort of voice box, but actually, what if he makes it into a music box instead?
I feel like you should roll something for assembling.
Yeah.
I don't know if that something would be.
Do you have tinker tools proficiency?
Let's see if I do. I have a disguise kit proficiency. I mean, not exactly but I'm gonna roll a straight intelligence to see if you can put it together.
Fair.
Okay,
that's a dirty 20. I'm gonna say you manage it. You pull together this scrap and sort of manage to arrange it in such a way that it makes a noise. It sounds like a voice.
Alrighty, now we're cooking.
Okay, now what do I do with this? What do I do?
That's the
Poko is
question.
currently doing the literary form of a keyboard smash on the paper.
And Lucy is fighting very hard because the mad scientist really wants to do it, but the lounge singer knows she can't do it, so she's kind of having a small hairy canary right now.
Lethe will kind of cock her head to the side and look down at Poko. She seems to have a bit of trouble with bending at the waist anymore, so she just kind of tilts her head down so she can look at Poko and says, "Would you prefer we just gave it to you?"
Poko just opens mouth. As in to say, the voice box, please.
Popsi just drops it in her mouth. There we go.
Consume voice.
Tasty, tasty voice box.
Consume voice to absorb power.
Like, to be fair, the vocal cords are in there. Like, you have to dig a little through into the mouth.
He just drops it in. Just like, okay, you want to eat it? Here you go.
I imagine like several whirring noises later, and some very very concerning like trumpet noises
Honk.
come out of like, not even out of the mouth, but like just like all of a sudden like reverberating through her body. You see her like physically vibrate.
Oh, that ain't good.
And then and
Are you quite all right?
after the vibrating is done, Poko opens her mouth and a bunch of steam comes out. And it kind of crackle, like you hear like the static like crackle of a radio sound come out before saying, did this work?
Hey, good job. We got ourselves some boys. Hey, and Lucy's gonna scoop up Poko and sort of do a little celebratory over the head carry.
That's adorable.
It's
It
very
works.
cute.
It works. Wait, no. Dang it.
Okay. Okay, so Poko has a voice again. This is good news.
Hooray!
While you have been busy trying to restore Poko's voice, the headless horse person has been sort of yelling at the rest of the crowd and trying to keep them in line. But now at like Lucy's triumphant holding Poko aloft, they turn to look at you again and they're like, if you wouldn't mind, it would really be appreciated if you could look into this and try to figure out what caused it. Otherwise I'm going to have to do it myself, and honestly these no one's behaving. I can't say I blame them, but this is going to be a mess.
You can stay here, and I will help out as much as I can.
Oh, that's adorable.
Teru, your voice is too cute. I'm fucking dying.
You get the sense that if this person still had like eyes, they would be tearing up, but they just have a pumpkin. So they're just like, oh, darling, I appreciate the help so much. I'm going
I
to.
ain't gonna
All
leave.
around the corner of their eye holes.
I ain't gonna leave this cute little bundle of fluff all by herself.
Uh,
Why isn't my mic working? There we go.
you can go. It's done. Don't worry.
Sorry. As I already said, I am all too willing to assist. And Lethy will give a curtsy. Something odd that's kind of happened since the costume magic shenaniganery took over is her animation looks like it's on like half the normal amounts of frames. So she goes from pose to pose in a very jerky manner.
Whoa.
oh boy.
She's on like animatic animation.
Oh dang. The pumpkin-headed person nods and then looks questioningly at Popsi, who had at some point come over here while they were busy wrangling the crowd, so they're not sure if you're also here to help. They're sort of like giving you a questioning look like, and are you helping as well then?
Popsi kind of wishes to just say, I'm 17, what the heck am I supposed to do? But also at the same time, he's been through quite a bit, so he's like, yeah, I can do this. I can do this, I can help.
All right, way to go,
Afterwards.
kiddo. We're gonna blaze new trails, discover new adventures, and and if I don't stop doing this, I am going to knock myself out.
Yeah, please do.
Nah.
Don't. That would be counterproductive.
Nah. Well, come on. I was up for a party, not for whatever this is. Let's go. Let's see where this whole nonsense started.
The headless horse rider nods and says, I'll pass the word along to the other staff. You'll have a free reign of, you'll be allowed to go anywhere in the building to investigate and try to figure out what caused this.
All right, now.
An idea of how to start.
Oh?
It started in a wave. Let's see. Let's follow the wave back to its source.
Lethy is going to, before we go following the wave, she's going to cast the spell Identify on herself, because the way Identify works is if you... Okay, hang on, let me read this out. Sorry, my brain lagged. The way Identify works is you choose one object that you must touch throughout the casting of the spell. If it is a magic-imbued object, you learn its properties and how to use them, whether it requires attunement to use, and how many charges it has, if any. You learn whether any spells are affecting the item and what they are. If the item was created by a spell, you learn which spell created it. If you instead touch a creature throughout the casting, you learn what spells, if any, are currently affecting it.
All right.
Okay.
So if this is a spell, then using Identify, we can figure out what spell this is.
Okay. I don't want to be a stick in the mud, but I'm looking at the components for Identify, and it does have a pearl worth at least 100 GP. So.
If you had a magic spellcasting focus, you didn't need material component.
Oh, is that how it works? Oh, sick. I don't know shit. So, okay, cool. So you cast.
Sorry. I just want to say, just for tips on how that rule works, it only needs like that component if it says that it's consumed on use.
Okay, if it's consumed. Okay, that's the rule. I thought it was like if it had a price listed, that was the only time we cared about it. So if it's consumed, nice.
And double bonus points, bards can cast spells using their instruments. So, so we two bards, as long as we have our instruments, we're good to go.
Cool.
Lethy's good to go as long as she has her umbrella. which she will tap against herself to cast Identify.
Oh, cool. So hang on one sec. I did not plan for this, but that always happens at least once in a D&D game. I'd rather it be a hole here than somewhere else. I will say, as I'm looking up what spell exactly this would be, you can tell that it is transmutation magic, and you can tell that it is actually wild magic, so it wasn't cast intentionally, you think.
Well, you're gonna share what you learned.
It's probably closest to polymorph or true polymorph, somewhere in the range of that. That's the word I was looking for. Somewhere in the neighborhood of polymorph, although it's maybe not that exact spell.
Makes sense.
Yee.
There's kind of a long while of humming and ticking and whirring from inside Lethy's head for a minute. And then there's just a sort of ding sound, and she kind of blinks and is like, that's curious.
Is it now?
The magic affecting us is wild magic. It could be most easily likened to the spell polymorph, but I don't think it's that spell exactly.
So we got a wild mage on the premises, I guess.
I don't understand any of this. What?
It would appear as such. But that does mean that it is likely that this was not intentional, even by the caster.
Oh,
We should
God.
approach with caution.
If this is a magic thing, I can probably
And you, Poko is gonna use detect magic. Specifically, I have that on at will because of my feet, but I'm gonna use detect magic to try to see if there's any like leading lines to anything.
All right. Well,
Okay, let me look at the. You sense the presence of magic within 30 feet of you. You can see an aura, and learn the school of magic. So, okay, how I'll say this goes is, one, the whole room is fucking full of school of transmutation magic. Like, everyone in this room is coated in transmutation magic right now. It's very bright, or if Poko does see detect magic as like light on people. But it's sort of let's see. It's sort of brighter towards one side of the room, and you can see there is like a hallway on that side of the room. And so if you had to guess, that's probably where it came from. Is that direction.
Poko, opens her mouth to say something, but again, the radio static comes up a little bit before she speaks again.
I think we should go that
And she points in that direction. She points
that way because it is over there.
all right. Well, Lucy's going to scoop up Poko once again, and she's gonna be, lead on, Ducky. Let's find us a wild mage.
A little hard to lead when I am carried.
Just point me in the right direction there.
and she just points to the direction.
All right, and Lucy is going to follow that direction. She go there.
And are Lethy and Popsi going as well?
Yep.
Yeah.
He is,
Okay.
at least.
Oh, I also want to mention, because Popsi could ears are now actual ears. That means they are now used to express emotion, and his ears are currently down, like in a disgruntled way.
That's adorable and I love it. Oh my god.
Grumpy bunny.
Grumpy.
Grumpy like a morph creature.
So Poko leads you guys off to one wall of the, like, most of this building is this huge party room, but there is a wall off to the side, and down it you can see a few different doors. You get the sense this is sort of more of a staff area. So there are 3 doors down this hallway. One is labeled the bathroom, one is labeled the storage room, and one is labeled the kitchen.
Oh no, I remember this from the last time I went rummaging around somebody's house. We ain't going to the kitchen. It is gonna end badly.
You look down in your arms. There is no more Poko. You see the little bit of Poko's cape go into the kitchen.
Ah!
Not going to do that. Immediately does that.
Poko's like, maybe you're not gonna do that, but I'm different.
Built
Popsi
different.
follows Poko.
Mhm.
I am following that duck.
Nothing can hurt me because I'm baby.
Letty is gonna follow the rest of the party.
Alright. Poko pushes open the door to the kitchen, and behind it is chaos. There are a number of chefs back here, most of whom are trying to keep the lids on trays of what you guess used to be spider-themed sweets, but are now just giant spiders, which they are very much trying to keep from getting off of the plates and out into the rest of the the party.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I think like one of the chefs looks up as Poko and the rest enter and is just like looks at you, looks back at the spiders and decides, yeah, the spiders are more important at the moment, and is like trying to bash some with a frying pan or something.
Well, isn't this fast? Nope, stop it. This is not good. This is definitely not good.
Which one is the most unruly spider in the bunch so far?
There's so many spiders. They were making enough for everyone. So there's like several dozen spiders. None really stand out. It's like a bucket full of crabs. You can't tell where one spider ends and another spider begins.
God.
Okay, this is gonna
So
sound
many damn
terrible, but
spiders.
is everything being covered metal? Like, are the covers all metal?
They can be metal, sure.
Okay, then I've got the obvious solution. Lucy's gonna cast heat metal.
My God.
Okay. The chefs sort of flinch back as the lids heat up under their hands, and then the lids sort of keep shuffling for like a few moments and then go still because the spiders have been heated to death. There is a distinct smell in the room. I don't know what the smell of cooked spiders is, but it's vaguely bitter.
Prestidigitation. It's now gonna smell like cinnamon and roses.
Nice call.
The spiders
well
have
done.
been microwaved.
Mhm. With the bulk of the spiders taken care of, a couple of loose spiders get like stomped underfoot or smashed with frying pans, and the spiders have been taken care of. And now the chefs are available. And one of them's like, "Oh, thank you. I don't know what happened. I mean, I've made this recipe before so many times and they've never turned into real spiders.
Trust me, you don't want to go out to the main floor right now. Everything's gone weird.
There's a bit of chaos going around, and I just, is everybody okay? Does everybody need a hug?
I think the chefs look around at each other and they're like, we're okay in here. What kind of chaos is going on out there?
Well, there's some particular weirdness that may or may not need some experimentation. I mean this was really fast. Sorry. Basically, everybody's their costumes now.
There's been a bit of a wild magic surge. We were wondering if you had any idea where it could have come from.
Yeah, the chefs kind of look around among each other again. One of them's like, Nick, aren't you a sorcerer? And Nick's like, no, that's my cousin. And it's like, they all sort of look between each other and collectively shrug. And they're like, yeah, we're not sure about that. I mean, everything was going pretty normal in here up until the cupcakes turned into spiders. Good to have an explanation for that, but I'm afraid we don't really know what would have caused that.
Is there a possible way to find out who all was in attendance of this event? Perhaps a register of guests or of employees available at the time?
Oh, a ledger book.
Yes.
If they had
I'm
some...
smart.
You are very smart and we are very proud of you.
Oh my
Poko
god.
stands, chest puffed out, like wings on hip, as if she is the smartest being alive.
I would die for her. Oh my god.
I would actually kill a man for this duck.
Yeah.
So one of the chefs is like, I think they might have been keeping something like that at the front door as they were greeting people in.
Okay, we got to talk to a horseman then. Thanks much. You guys have been awesome. And
Thank you for dealing with the spiders.
Lucy's going to manically scramble back up to the main floor and track down that horseman.
It is not hard to do. They are still standing in front of the door and yelling at people to stay inside until they figure this out.
Horse person, yo, horse, man, woman, non-gendered person.
My name is Reese, if that makes it easier. Did you find anything?
We may need a ledger. We're looking for a sorcerer, possibly, maybe, hopefully.
Anyone who is a user of wild magic.
Yes, please. Give me.
We have, they reach behind their back and pull out, like, a stack of paper, and it's like, we kept a list of names, but it wasn't a register of everyone present's magic status and preferred school of magic, so here you go, but...
Popsi grabs it anyway. Like, that doesn't matter. I could probably, if I'm thinking of if it's possible of who I'm thinking of, I don't know who it is. And he's gonna start flipping through the pages.
Okay, roll investigation.
He is going to peek over Popsi's shoulder and just ask, "Oh, you already have a hypothesis?"
Grumbles at you like. It's obvious whoever he's thinking of, he doesn't want to deal with.
Poor. The handwriting on this is not so good. You're struggling to read names off of this list.
Can I try?
Sure.
Can I use my lawyerly skills to try and read this?
Is there any way Is there any way Lucy can help with bardic inspiration?
You can try.
Oh boy.
I mean, yeah, you can get
Play the
bardic
Tekken.
inspiration, and Will can use it if you want.
I hope so.
Wait, should I wait for you to go then?
I don't know where bardic inspiration is on Dungeon Master's Vault. Please help.
Let's see.
Oh wait, I think I found it. Yee. 1d6. Okay, let's see if this works.
So I think it's like you can give it to Whirl, and then Whirl can roll a d6 on top of any d20 based roll.
Okay, well then, hopefully that work.
Okay, so Whirl, you can roll investigation, and you have bardic inspiration if you want to use it.
All right. I don't need it.
My God.
Holy crap!
Okay, 22.
Oh yeah, this character was built to solve mysteries. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
she's an ace attorney protagonist.
Yeah, you can read every name on this list. You find your name. You could probably find Poko and Popsi and Lucy's names if they had introduced themselves. There's a lot of names here. None of them stand out. Like, no one has written themselves in as Wild Magic Sorcerer the Great. Like, there's nothing on this list that makes you immediately suspicious of anyone in particular. It's just names.
You know what we can do? We can do a roll call.
Okay,
Wait. Popsy looks up like, are any of these, since apparently I can't read today, do any of these have the name Papa on them?
Papa.
DM? Do they?
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
I know I know for a fact that he's not going to be here, but whenever Popsy hears of wild magic, he always suspects that guy.
Nope.
There does not appear to be a Papa on the list.
Oh, thank God.
Lucy, by the way, that's me.
We're gonna have okay. Since we can't linger too much, can you Reese?
Yes.
Can you and the other staff do a roll call?
To make sure that everyone's still present? That would be a great idea. We can do that.
Okay.
And Reese will reach for the guest book or ledger or whatever again.
Okay.
Even if none of these people are the person in question, somebody could have escaped a different way, and that would be bad.
That would be bad. So yes,
Okay.
we'll run through this and make sure that everyone is still present and accounted for. I'll have someone come let you know if anyone doesn't respond.
Okay, and just for the record, if Lucy and she points to everyone else, you don't have to worry about Lucy or maybe what's your name, Madam Wind Up Dolly.
Mic isn't working. Ah!
Oh.
There we go. Oh, I am Lethologica Beckford, attorney at law. Pleased to meet you.
Okay, Lethologic, whatever. And you...
Hey, Letty.
Letty, okay, thank you. Lucy, Letty, and you, Vampire Kiddo.
Popsy does like a slow blink at you, like, okay. I'm Popsy.
Thank you, Mr. Popsy, and you, Ducky.
Poko.
Poko. Okay. Those names, that's us. We're somewhere else. Don't freak out.
And they nod and make like a note on the paper to make sure that they don't like call a false absence on you while you're still investigating.
All right. Now we're good. Now let's head back downstairs and carry on with this thing.
Sorry. My mic.
Moment, please. And Lethy is going to turn to Reese and say, Pardon, sorry to keep taking up your time, but do you have a map where I might find the... And she kind of blinks and there's a clicking in her head for a minute as she tries to find the right words. Where I might find a roster of possible exits?
Maple, it's okay. It's the spook dogs.
Well, there's
the
only
werewolf.
really... There's
Sorry,
only really
that was Maple, my dog.
Someone got turned into a werewolf and is really unhappy about it.
Upset.
Kammio,
Background.
there is a small werewolf demanding attention.
Mhm. And Reese's attention is sort of drawn to them for a moment. And then they go, well, the building's pretty new and open. We don't have any maps printed. The only doors are these here at the front, and I think there's a back entrance out through the kitchen. But
You
those
should
are the
get
only
that looked
doors.
at. I do believe that is a fire safety hazard.
Probably.
Thank you for your time. We will be taking our leave now.
All right.
So, Reese is beginning to sort of call out names off the list and take roll call. What do you guys want to do in the meantime?
What were the other 2 rooms we haven't visited yet?
They were a bathroom and a storage room.
Does anybody want to risk toilet ghosts?
Poko is gonna go into the storage closet.
Hey.
Okay. Switch to the wrong tab again. So, do you want to roll perception or investigation?
Okay, let me just check which one's better first.
And anyone else who comes
Okay.
into the room can as well.
Let's see. I'm
Poko
also
is gonna do perception because Poko does not claim that she is actually the smartest. She is not.
Baby.
I'm gonna go with perception. Wait, no. No, investigation is better. I'll go with that.
I'm doing perception?
Investigation.
I will
Okay.
also
Wow.
go with perception.
So
This is a
that's
very
a nat
private
1 on
storage
perception for Poko.
Oh no!
Oh,
Listen
And
up,
a
kiddo.
21 on investigation for Lucy.
Oof!
And a nat 1 for Lethy!
And a 5 for me. Oh no.
Oh my gosh, the luck is all over here. So
dear.
I used investigation because I had like a +1 in it. And if I used perception, I would have had a -2.
oh my god, that would
Did we turn the light off in the storage closet or something?
I think that's actually what it is. Like, Poko goes in first and Lethy follows right after her, and oh boy, this room's dark, you guys. And Popsi follows after, and because you're a vampire, you can kind of see in the dark. And then Lucy comes in last and flips the light switch and turns the lights on in the room.
Oh, come on. It was obvious, right?
So,
I feel like perhaps
Lucy.
we should have done that from the start.
To be fair, I am short.
That's the best. That's the best. Oh my god. So yeah, while everyone else's eyes are getting adjusted to the light, Lucy, what you can see is this is like a moderately sized storeroom. It's not quite a closet. It's smaller than the kitchen though. It's mostly empty It's got like plain walls, plain floor. There's a few. There's some packaging strewn around for the various Halloween decorations. There's some like packages that say fake webbing. There's some spare streamers, stuff like that. And at the back of the room, you notice there is another door. It's a metal utility-looking door that's kind of rusted around the edges, which is odd considering this is supposed to be a brand new building.
This
Not
used to
concerning at
be
all.
a fake door, wasn't it?
You can go and try opening it.
Lucy gonna go try opening the what once was fake door.
The door is unlocked and you can open it. And behind the door, you can see a set of stairs carved out of stone leading downward.
Nice.
Cookie.
This looks pretty homey to me, I think, man. Look, you could find all this neat sciencey stuff. Wait, no, stop it.
Do you think we should check the bathroom before we go down there?
Yes, perhaps it would be better advised to clear the entire area that we were working with before entering a new area.
Yeah, before we die.
No
All
one is
right.
going to die.
I haven't
That's
even
what you think.
lived long. I think I'm almost a year old now.
Wait.
Wait, what?
Are
Where are
we-
you?
Not even that. Both of us are far too young to die, so we are not going to do that today. Thank you very much.
This isn't too bad, I guess.
Have I been carrying a little baby around? I think
I am not old. I am.
Tries to count on her feathers.
Oh no.
What comes after 6?
7.
Okay. 1, 5, 3, 10,
Wait.
8, 6, 7.
You're 7 years old?
I am not. No, I am. I am not 7. I am less than a year.
We have a literal baby with us.
Oh boy.
Okay, that's it. Come here. Lucy's gonna pick up the baby.
Baby is lift.
You are gonna stick with me and Poko. No. Poko. Vampire kid. Sorry. Brain is very distracted right now.
You were calling me Pogo?
To be fair, I have been fighting with some really weird thoughts lately. If I start going in creepy mad scientist way, take the kid away from me, please.
Okay, but I'm not good with kids. You should know that. And
As long as you don't feel like dissecting kids, I think you're gonna be way better. All right, now let's go check out this bathroom.
What? Wait.
No one is getting dissected.
Now you see, that's a bad way to die.
Are we all heading to the bathroom then?
Let's
Sounds
go.
like it. So the bathroom is next door. It is, it's like gender neutral stall bathroom with like a big mirror along the opposite wall over all the sinks. So you can roll perception or investigation if you'd like in here as well.
Is the light on?
The light is on.
Alright, yay!
All right.
Oh my god.
Not that it helps much.
Oh, but
I haven't been I got roll.
Hey!
And that has been all my block of this game.
Help
Get all the
me.
bad rules out now. This is not consequential, don't worry. Yeah. 6, 11, 12, 20. None of you see anything suspicious in this room. You can look at your reflections in the mirror for the first time since you got turned into your costumes. Yeah. As for the 20 that Luffy got, I'm trying to come up with something. I don't know. There's no second exit here. There's no there's not like a window someone could have crawled out of or anything. So
No signs of like anyone having a meltdown. I know bathrooms are good places for meltdowns at parties.
they are, but no one is in here currently.
Is there already like a out of order sign on one of the stalls, even though it is like a new building?
No, the stalls all appear to be in order.
All right. Well,
Can I do a thing real quick?
What do you want to do?
So because of he who funky warlock business, Lethy has an ability called the persistence of memory. And I don't think this is gonna work, but I'm curious. So basically the persistence of memory is an ability that says things will always remember what they have been. Starting at level 1 as an action, you can cause a creature or object to remember its past state. The target must make a constitution save, being affected by this ability on a failure. Targets can choose to fail this save. Non-magical items will always fail this save. Magical items cannot be affected. Choose one of the following effects. Restore, the target, if it is a creature, regains 2d6 hit points as it remembers a time when it was whole. If the target is instead an object, any damage taking up a foot in dimension or smaller is repaired. And revert, the target, if it is a creature, takes 2d6 psychic damage as it is made to remember a past injury. The target can also be an object of small to medium size. If it has ever been damaged, it will revert to its most damaged condition. If it has never been damaged, it will be reverted back to its base components. I don't think Lethy fully knows the extent of her powers, so I personally know this isn't gonna work because it says non-magical object. But Lethy is gonna try and like look in the mirror and poke herself using the persistence of memory feature to try and see if that undoes any of the magic.
Oh, but what would be the fun of this game if it worked? So, nope. I'm gonna say it doesn't work because otherwise, what's the fun? If you're only a wind-up doll for like, well, it's been like an hour and a half now. We're gonna break soon, but.
Yeah, I figured as much. And she kind of just blinks, looks at herself, and says, "No, we are not a teacup."
okay, I hope that solves something. All right, should we go down the spooky hole of spookiness?
Miss Lethy?
Yes, dear.
I think perhaps the only way to revert this is if we instead of trying to dispel it on ourselves, we try to dispel it on the thing that may be making us like this.
That is entirely possible and a good theory. Why don't we try to track down the source then?
Okay.
Probably in the basement.
That reminds me of a time, and okay, and I'm gonna use my bardic inspiration to bestow a tale. Let me just roll a d8. I got a 4. So on Lethe, I bestow Tale of the Runaway. I'm gonna do my roleplay stuff as I copy and paste this for Lethe to read.
Ooh.
So I don't know. This just kind of reminds me of like when I was in a weird hotel and I got out and for a while I was kind of wandering around and I wasn't even sure what I was at the time because this was like month 1 of being a person. But when you get turned into things you don't know immediately, it'll be okay because you're still you and I'm still me and Mr. Popsi is still Mr. Popsi and Miss Lucy is still Miss Lucy, so everything will be okay.
Oh my god.
This
Your Honor, I
child
love
is.
this child.
You are a very good kid there, Poko.
Lethe is just kind of ticking and worrying, very just like, oh, okay. Like, there's definitely the processing type ticking and worrying, but also she just has a very, very touched emotional expression on her face.
Yeah. You can. By the way, this tail lasts on you for until I bestow another tail, or if you do a short or long rest. So you just kind of have this now. You're able. So let me just read it. Tail of the runaway. The target can immediately use its reaction to teleport up to 30 feet to an unoccupied space it can see. When the target teleports, it can choose a number of creatures it can see within 30 feet of it, up to your charisma modifier, a minimum of 0, to immediately use the same reaction.
Oh my god.
So you can now teleport yourself, I'm
guessing
up to 4 people.
Yeah, you can teleport up to 4 people with you, which is
all
all
of
of us.
Hey, well, hey.
Handy.
That is very useful, thank you.
Well,
Extremely useful. Yeah.
So shall we go Mume?
Go to the spooky dungeon hole.
Dungeon hole away.
we just go dungeon.
Dungeon.
All right. So you guys go back into the storage room and this time descend the staircase down into the down. You don't know what it's going into yet?
It is down.
Okay.
Into the dungeon hole. We described it. It's a dungeon hole.
Okay, wait. Before we go, Lucy's gonna cantrip. Let's see. Lucy's gonna cantrip. For lack of anything better, she's gonna cantrip her hat to be light.
Well
light
played.
on her hat.
Well done. So now you are descending and you have a light coming from Lucy's hat. I would suggest we take a 5-minute break here, and when we come back, you will be at the bottom of the staircase. Does that sound good?
That sounds good. Biological attention's a go-go. Woo!
All right. Okay, so the stairs that you found behind the utility door lead down and further down, way deeper down than you'd expect any basement to be. And then you finally reach the bottom of the staircase, where a twisting tunnel has been carved out of the solid stone. You can all roll Perception or Arcana here. And Popsi, you have advantage.
I'm going to ping my detect magic again.
Perception. Okay.
I'm gonna roll Arcana because, like, I have, like I said, I have
Oh, that's a beautiful thing.
Oh, nat 20.
Advantage.
We love to see those.
Oh, thank God.
14, not bad.
I have a 12. Do you mind if I use that bardic inspiration now?
You can, but you might not need to, considering Angel's got the nat 20. You might want to save that.
Yeah, true.
Teru, are you gonna roll perception, or are you just doing the detect magic?
I assume I'm just gonna do the detect magic, and that's just gonna be my perception roll.
Okay.
The werewolf is cranky again.
The werewolf's having an argument with Reese again.
The
Okay.
werewolf is declaring her territory against squirrels.
Mhm. Yeah. So there's not too much to see in this tunnel. And, Lethy, as far as you know, this is normal for stone tunnels carved deep in the earth. So I will say for Poko's Detect Magic and for, Popsi's Arcana, this place kind of has a sort of ambient wild magic faintly like laced throughout the tunnels, which Popsi, Plague, correct me if I'm wrong, but Popsi is from the Uncanny Valley, right?
Yep.
So this is feeling a bit familiar to him, and the two of you can put together, well, at least Popsi can put together, I don't know if Poko knows about the Uncanny Valley, but Popsi, you can tell you're in one of the tunnels that extend out from the Uncanny Valley.
Poko knows.
And, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Teru. Poko.
Poko knows nothing. She's never claimed to know anything before.
Well, you can at least tell that this place is pretty thoroughly magical. And for the nat 20, Lucy, you can tell that this is one of the Uncanny Valley tunnels. You also get the sense, there's nothing interesting in this tunnel specifically. There's nothing that would have caused the wild magic surge that turned you guys into your costumes. But you do get the sense it passed through here, and if you keep going, you will find the source of the wild magic surge. Plague, what was that roll for?
That was a deception roll to see if Popsy can hide the fact that he is quite nervous right now.
Oh boy, with an
Permission
18,
to
I'd
roll
say you'd be pretty
contesting
good.
insight?
Yes, go for it.
Oh boy.
Expose the boy.
Oh,
Holy shit!
Oh boy.
I thought 18 was a pretty good deception, but Lethy 22 beats it for sure. Poko with a 6. You're convinced? Why would Popsy be nervous? It's just a stone tunnel really deep underground. And Lucy, you're distracted by looking around. So Lethy's the only one to notice.
Lucy, you're distracted by wanting to cause problems on purpose.
Lucy is holding back the problem brain.
Actually, she finds the decor rather nice for a haunted castle in the middle of nowhere. Wait, no.
Lethy is going to kind of do that thing where she kind of tilts her head a little bit and at like a bit of an angle so that she can look at somebody who's shorter than her. Because Lethy is 6 foot tall with her heels on. And she's going to look down at Popsy and say, "What seems to be bothering you?"
What? Nothing's bothering me. You don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, Letty doesn't know much about people, so I'm sorry, this is an impulse thing. She's gonna just set a hand on Popsy's forehead, just like, "Are you sick? Do you have a fever?"
I don't think so.
Do you need help?
immediately Poko is going to give hug to Popsi, casting mending. It's not gonna work, but she's trying because it helps her.
Oh my
well,
god.
When and I hope I'm allowed to do this. Tell me if I'm not, I guess. But when Poko goes up to hug Popsy, his fight or flight instinct like activates, and he poofs and turns into a bat as his flight reaction.
Absolutely, you can do that.
Oh my god.
No, that's not fair. I can't fly.
You see,
Neither can I! And he
Here,
falls
like
to the
jump
ground.
up and try to flap.
He falls to the ground because he does not know how to fly either.
Oh my god.
He's a little bat now.
Can Letty just gently scoop up both the bat and the duck?
I'm guessing you can. I don't think Popsy can put up much of a fight right now.
We're just going to gently pick up the bat and the duck because the bat used to be a person who was, clearly feeling uneasy, or clearly to Letty, and the duck is baby. So we're just going to lift them both and keep them out of danger.
Excellent. And Angel has background noise, so I'll read out their message, which is wild. I dig it. So Lucy's on board with that Popsy. Oh my gosh, that's such a cute little bat. Oh my gosh.
He's not on board with
Look at
this.
the wiggles. The wiggles.
I'm gonna draw Bat Popsy at some point. I guarantee it.
Oh my
Popsy.
gosh.
does Bat Popsy have bunny ears?
No, but he does have his bangs.
Really big ears for a bat.
Yeah, and also, the inside of his wings, they're currently a red color like his cape.
Aww.
Oh. Adorable. So, are you guys gonna continue walking down this tunnel?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, cool. You don't get very far before you see a wall in front of you, or perhaps it might be more accurate to say that the path splits, and you find yourselves at a junction. There's one path to your left and one path to your right. Would you guys like to roll perception or investigation to see what the two paths are?
Perception time, baby.
Yeah. Investigation a go-go.
16.
I'm doing perception just because I feel like it'd work out for
Woohoo!
being a bat.
Dirty 20.
It's a fun-
Popsy, 5. You're being held. You don't really. Oh, make sure you're using the bat stats as
Oh,
well
yeah.
while you're in bat form.
Okay, perception.
Bat boy.
Hold on. Oh, it's the +1. Yo.
How does he have more wisdom while he is a bat?
I don't know. He just does. It doesn't.
Being a bat is
That's
very
hilarious.
emotionally grounding.
Being a bat makes you feel like you can actually make good life choices.
He's no longer intelligent. He is now wise.
Well,
He's
all that fruit and all that.
He's still
Being a
is
bat
the-
gives you brain cells.
Okay. So, yeah. So Popsy still has the lowest roll with a 9. So what you can tell, the left hallway is dark, but bats, can Darkness is not a hindrance to bats. The left hallway is dark, but you can tell it's fairly short for a hallway, like 80 feet, 100 feet, which is not like short in the scheme of things, but it's not terribly long, and seems to be a fairly straight shot. And the right hallway is lit. It has some lanterns mounted on the walls. Okay. Let's see what everyone else got. So that was the 9. So Lethy has a 16, and Poko has a 14. Whirl, correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought I saw on Lethy's character sheet that she has dark vision.
Yes. When did I give her that?
Should she have that? I can not give her the dark vision.
She does have
description
it. I just don't remember why she has it. Oh, because she has devil's sight. Okay, yeah, she has dark vision.
Okay. So yeah, both of you can tell that the left hallway is dark. Let me see. You can also tell that the darkness in the left tunnel is magical, because it sort of starts right as that hallway starts at the intersection, and it starts like being very dark right away versus like fading in like natural darkness that just happens to not be lit. And Lethy can also see, because dark vision, the same thing that Popsi sensed, which is, the left hallway is a fairly straight shot. But you can see the right hallway that's lit sort of curves, so you can't see where it ends. It's sort of a more twisting path. And you can also tell that something seems to be a bit odd with the torches, though you can't quite put your finger on it. Lucy, with a nat 20, you notice, of course, the dark and light hallways. You notice 2 other things. So the right hallway with the torches, you can put your finger on what's weird with them, which is that the frame rate is off on the torch animation. It's basically jumping from one keyframe to another with no in-betweens, so it looks very jittery and unnatural. And as you're trying to look down the left hallway, you see a set of, classic cartoonish eyes, when something's in darkness and all you can see is their eyes. And they sort of look at you, and then blink and vanish into the darkness.
Nope, I'll take jittery torches over eyeballs any day. Let's go.
I like eyes. Wait, what's going on?
There's eyeballs in there. I don't like them eyeballs. Nope. I like seeing what's seeing me. So weird, jittery, kind of leafy torch then is the path I want to take. I don't know what you all want to do. I'm going down the torches.
What if I ate the eyeballs to help out?
What?
Okay. Let me explain a bit. So eyeballs are bad.
Yes.
But if get rid of eyeballs, it is good.
Yes.
So if I ate eyeballs, then eyeballs gone, which mean good.
Okay. But what if those eyeballs are attached to something else?
I eat that.
I say let her. I want to see what happens.
It could be attached to a very big something that you might not be able to eat.
Then I'll be friends.
That also works.
Oh boy.
Can I see the eyes?
Sorry, who just asked that?
Me, it is me.
Roll investigation.
All right. I don't claim that I know things, but I'll try my best. No.
9. No. As far as you can tell, it's just a dark hallway. You don't know what Lucy saw, but there's no eyes in there now.
I already rolled perception, but can I roll investigation now that I know that there was something with eyes in the dark hallway to try and spot any figure with my Kihu spooky magic dark vision?
Sure.
Alright.
You gotta take the time to ping my
Nat 20!
and take the time to do my detect magic again. Again,
Okay.
I will reiterate, I can do it at will because of my
Yeah. So Lethy, nat 20 plus 6. Yeah, as you look down the left hallway now, you can see a couple pairs of eyes blinking in the darkness. You can't see anything they're attached to. They just seem to be floating in the darkness out of nowhere. Even with dark vision, you can't see a creature that they might belong to. They're just hovering in midair as far as you can tell.
Oh no.
Lethy is going to turn to the tiny child that she is holding and say, I do believe you can eat these, given that they appear to be just floating eyeballs.
Yay! I can't believe we're discussing floating eyeballs.
Agreed. Let us go approach. And Lethy's gonna start down the hallway.
Which hallway are you going for? The dark one?
Yes.
All right. So yeah.
Some eyeballs.
You're gonna eat some eyeballs, apparently.
Are other people gonna follow?
Yeah, Lucy's gonna follow if nothing else because she's got the light.
Okay.
Popsi's being held. He doesn't have a choice.
Right, Popsi's still being held. Okay.
Yeah.
So you all venture into the left hallway, and Lucy, as your hat is still lit, that light does penetrate the darkness of this hallway, illuminating a small area that encompasses the four of you. Forgot about Popsi for a second because he's very small right now, but Lucy and Lethy and everyone Lethy is carrying are all in, the light illuminating off Lucy's hat. It doesn't go as far as you think it should. It's not as bright as you think it should, but the light is still working. And yeah, you can all see as you walk down this hallway, occasionally a pair of eyes blink out of the darkness and watch you for a few moments, and then blink closed.
When one opens close by me, can I go and reach for it?
Roll, I feel like you should roll something dexterity.
Sleight of hand?
Sure.
Okay, I don't claim to be good at sleight of hand, so let's try.
Actually, I am good at sleight of hand. It's one of my proficiencies. Can I have a go?
I got an 18. Does that work?
So I'm assuming snapping out, trying to bite down on the eyes?
No, I'm trying to grab one gently.
Trying to grab one gently.
Okay.
Yeah, as you touch the eyes, they close and disappear.
Oh, look at you, the little son.
Yeah, not any better.
Yeah, it's like you can reach out to touch the eyes, but before you'd actually make contact, they blink closed and disappear. And then it's just thin air where they were.
It's freezing out there, isn't it?
Okay, just because I talked about you guys, about eating you guys, does not mean you have to be rude about it.
Oh my god! Your Honor, I love this child.
Quack, 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 quack.
She's so precious. I love her so much.
This is a muffin. This is a baby muffin.
Yeah. So you guys are walking down the hallway, and Lethy and Popsi, you're pretty sure you should have reached the end of the hallway by now, because it didn't look like a very long hallway from the junction. But you've been walking for a while, and you haven't reached the end of it yet.
That's concerning.
You know what? I think it's magic time. I'm going to cast spell. I'm going to
Oh,
cast.
hang on.
Hmm?
Lucy's gonna pull out a rock from her hammer space,
Fair enough.
and then she's gonna wing it down the hall as hard as she can.
Okay.
Well,
In the direction that you guys are traveling?
Yes.
Okay. So it's sort of, and you're throwing it straight ahead, not like skipping it
Yep.
across the floor. Okay.
Nope, just baseball pitch down the hall.
You hear it. It
Yeet.
goes flying. It goes out of the like circle of light cast from your hat and into like the deep shadow that you can't see it. So you can't see it hit anything, but you hear like a thwack as it hits a wall, which sounds to be fairly close by.
All right. So something fishy's going on. We heard something. There'd be a wall, but we haven't hit it yet.
Can I do a magic?
What do you want to
Do
do?
a magic.
I have the spell Dispel Magic.
Oh, hey, that's a good idea.
Yeah, I figured it might be. It is my last spell slot for the day. But that's
uh-oh.
Oh my
fine.
god.
I can do it. I can try.
I'm gonna try to do that for Lethe. Use my 3rd level spell slot to try to cast Dispel Magic on the darkness, on the void.
Cast Dispel Magic into the void, tiny duck.
Does anything happen?
Okay, let me check. So you're targeting the magical effect of the darkness, and you're casting this at 3rd level.
Because I don't have anything higher than that.
Listen, I'm gonna be honest. I'm not using a real spell here. I don't know what level it is, but it's higher than level 3.
Oh,
So,
no.
You make an ability check using your spellcasting ability.
Okay.
And the DC for it is 10 plus the spell's level.
Okay. I'll make it a level 5 spell, and we'll see how that goes. So, Poko roll d20 plus charisma, and if it's higher than 15, you might just dispel the darkness.
Is would it use the spell attack or is just the charisma?
It says using your spellcasting ability, an ability check using your spellcasting ability. So as a bard, I assume that's charisma, right?
Yeah. Yep. So it'd be a +8 since that's my
Holy shit!
spell attack.
Well,
That's my spell attack, right?
mhm.
Yeah.
Roll it.
Ooh.
15 meets it, beats it, and I set the DC at 15. So the magical effect you were targeting was the magical darkness. How evil do I want to be compared to how much time we have left? You know what? Okay, I don't want to spend too long in the dark hallway. We have other stuff. So, the hallway is suddenly free from magical darkness. And you can see right in front of you, you've come to another junction. And if you look behind you, you can see the first junction. You've walked further than 100 feet or however long the hallway is, but you've only gone like 100 feet. You're pretty sure you walked farther than that, but here you are at the next junction. And again, you have 2 choices of which way you can go.
Investigation, insight again.
Yep. Investigation or perception. You can choose left or right. And there are 2 options for paths, a left one and a right one.
Oh, nice. I am rolling really good with these investigations.
You're taking all
can
the
I-
luck.
Can I use my
25.
May I use my detect magic again?
Yes, you can. Okay.
Alright, I do that.
All right. So Popsi with an 11, you're still a bat being held. You can tell that the left path is sort of curvy and snakes ahead out of sight, so you can't see the end of it like the previous torch path. And the right path is wider and seems to be less windy. So Poko, the magic that you get from it, you don't really get a strong sense of magic from either pathway. You get like a faint sense of magic from the left pathway. I don't know what type of magic it is. So we'll say it's too faint for you to be able to tell which school. But there's no obvious magical effects on either pathway this time. And then Lucy with a 20 and Lethy with a 25. You can both tell the left path looks a bit more traveled. There's some dust and gravel along the edges of the hallway, but the center of it seems mostly clear, so it seems like it's getting more foot traffic. That path has been more recently traveled. The right path is strewn with gravel and rocks more liberally. It's not like entirely gravel like a gravel pathway, but there's a lot of, a lot more loose gravel that way, even some larger rocks. So you get the sense no one's been through that pathway, so sort of clear those out.
Sorry if you can hear the dogs barking and howling upstairs.
And more werewolves.
It's
this
the
time
werewolves in the building far above us. I thought we established this.
Fair enough.
One of the werewolves wants to talk to the manager.
And there goes mine. Okay.
Dog to dog communication.
Let's see. I don't know about y'all, but I'd say let's try the road more traveled, eh? Lucy says, beckoning to the left road, the left tunnel.
Since we're trying to track someone down, that does seem like it might be a good idea.
Mm-hmm. It does.
Which way had the faint scent of magic?
The left pathway. Which is the twisting and more traveled one. So you guys are going the left pathway?
Yeah.
Yay.
Okay.
I didn't realize that I smell magic afoot in this area.
Okay. So the path twists and turns for a bit, before ending at a fairly ordinary looking wooden door. It looks kind of old, but other than that, the sort of door you'd expect to see in maybe an old house.
Can I go knock on the door?
Sure.
I go knock on the door.
There's no answer.
I test the lock.
The door
Kick it
is
down.
the door
Kick
is
it down.
The door is unlocked and it swings open easily to reveal a fairly large room behind it. And the room is mostly open. It's like carved out of stone, so it seems like a cave.
All
Do
right.
you guys wanna?
I'm suspicious. Lucy's gonna use up her see invisibility spell.
Do I still detect any magic?
Okay. Lucy, you don't see anything invisible. Poko, now that you're closer to the source of the magic, you can tell that there is magic. There's magic on the door that Lethy just opened, and there's some ambient magic in the room, and it is conjuration magic.
Conjuration.
I'm gonna relay that to everybody. I'm gonna inspect the door.
Oh, boy.
I will let Poko down to inspect the door because I'm pretty sure Letty has been carrying her this whole time.
Yep, and you're
And
still
we're-
carrying Popsi too, who is
She's
still a
okay.
bat.
Popsi I
Popsi.
have set on my shoulder.
Oh
Popsi
my god,
is
that's
so far-
adorable!
And do realize Popsi is the only person who has not been part of the Carry Poko Brigade. Lucy has done it, and now Lethe has done it.
Well, consider this. Popsi's now the only person small enough for Poko to get a turn at carrying.
Hey!
Okay,
That'd
Poko, do you
Poko
want
joins the party carrying brigade.
to... Poko, do you want to roll investigation on the door?
I would love to. Let me go to my skills. Okay. Okay. I still do not claim to be smart. Oops.
Poko doesn't need to be smart for us to love her very much.
Yes.
Listen, being no thoughts head empty is valid.
Holy shit! Nat 20!
Nice!
Nat 20.
Wow.
Okay. Okay, with a nat 20, you're investigating the door into this room. As far as you can tell, it still looks like a fairly normal door. There's no locks, there's no traps, there is conjuration magic on it, but you get the sense that's mostly just someone didn't want to carry a door down here and so spawned a door instead. Or the tunnel spontaneously spawned a door. You don't know who created this door, but they did it with conjuration magic. But
Spontaneous door generation.
But the magic on it is sort of faded a bit now, so you get the sense this door was not conjured recently. It's been here for a while.
Wait, you said that this place is a new building?
Well, it was.
This is an old door.
Well, I don't think we're part of the original building anymore.
Definitely not. I know, but this is it's very, 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 very spooky.
Can I roll investigation on the rest of the room? Try and see if we
Sure.
can figure out where whoever induced the spontaneous door generation may have gone to.
Sure, you can roll investigation.
Alright, what is my investigation? My investigation is +6. 25!
Hey, pretty good. So what you can tell about this room, it's basically, ignore the map, it's basically like a big open space. The door seems to be the only entrance or exit out of this room. There is no other, you don't see another path that you could go through, but there is some writing inscribed in the wall to the side of the door.
I can read
but-
writing.
Yeah, I don't think Lethe can read, can she?
Actually, I did write something about that in my notes.
Yeah, you can't read signs. So this is going to be probably difficult for Lethe to understand.
Can
She
Lucy help?
understands text as
Yeah, as memories,
everything
right?
is yeah,
Or-
everything is translated into echo. It's a semi-telepathic language that relies on the relay of messages through memories and sensations.
What
Okay.
is this written in?
Sorry, could you repeat that?
What is this written in? The writing?
Common.
Okay.
And if Lethe is willing to like wave anyone over to read it, you guys can read it. Otherwise, I can
Yeah.
try to approximate what I think it would translate to in Echo.
Lucy,
I am
Lucy can
currently
read it.
I am being held by Lethe, so I imagine.
Oh, true. So you could totally see this.
Huh. 4 paths lead forward, the rest lead back. So if you want to stay on track, find the door that's made for you. The path behind will let you through.
Now, would you say that Lucy sort of leaned into the room to be able to read that?
Yeah, she read it over Letty's shoulder. She's looking.
Okay. If y'all are in the room, like, did you step through the doorway to take a look at things, or have you been in the hallway outside craning your neck through to see stuff?
I'd say Lucy probably followed Letty to follow in, just because A, light, B, she's curious, she wants to see what's happening.
Okay, so once all four of you are inside the room, the original door slams shut, and a moment later, 4 doors appear on the opposite wall. So while there previously was no exit to this room, now there appear to be 4 different doors, in addition to the door you came in through.
Well, that's not good. 4 paths lead forward. The rest lead back.
Oh boy.
Letty's going to turn around and go through the door they came through.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Yep, the door opens and you can go back out. You can go back to the intersection if you want.
It's at the path behind.
We'll let you through. So
I'm gonna do another detect magic because there's more stuff going on now.
Yeah, so there is fresh conjuration magic around the 4 new doors, and you get the sense that's where all the ambient conjuration magic in this room came from.
all right.
I just want to, before anything happens, I want to let Lethe remember you do have teleportation up to 4. Unlimited uses on that, by the way.
Wait, seriously? I thought it was only once.
No, it just lasts. It just lasts until I bestow another tail, I believe. Yeah.
That is really powerful. Christ, kid.
Yeah!
Yeah. Good.
Because it doesn't say that it goes away like once you use it. So I think you just have it until I either give another tail or you guys rest.
That's fascinating. Okay, well, if going back only leads us back to the conjunction,
I have a bad feeling we gotta split up. Everybody takes a door.
Popsy's
That
like,
sounds
okay,
like
you
a
can do
terrible
that,
idea.
but and then he like flaps his wings like, am I really of use?
Can you not turn back?
I haven't thought of that.
You want to give it a try?
Okay, but what do I do?
Think about what you look like real hard.
Like person butts? Instead of bat butts?
And then make a pop, and you go, and then you should go back.
So you said Popsy's on Lovey's shoulder, right?
Yeah, she will gently set him down.
A very smart move.
Alright.
So he is no longer stuck on Lethy's shoulder.
So Matt just a very small bat now in deep thought, trying to like, give me a second. I'm trying to figure out how to like phrase this. Yeah, it's very concentrated. And then
Transformation Central.
yeah. Poof.
Lucy's probably loving this right now.
Are you ready?
We don't want to get a copyright.
Oh,
Be
well,
careful! The
that's it.
YouTube copyright bots.
You only
Beware.
use a little.
Beware the YouTube. Okay, well that's it. I'm done.
Okay.
Anyway, Popsi's turned back into the human form thing. And, you know,
Popsi is now person Popsi again.
Yay!
person quotations.
I used precipitation to do sparkles all around Popsy, and like a whole bunch of fanfare and kazoo noises, like triumphant kazoo noises.
Dun, 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 dun. Jazz
That's
hands.
adorable.
You can see Popsy is wagging his tail with it.
And you are now a person again. Congratulations.
Oh my
Thumbs up.
Okay, so do you guys want to take another look at these doors or go back and try another path?
So none of y'all have to come with me if you don't want to, but Letty kind of wants to go back and like investigate the path less traveled.
Well, that'll still be the same effect of what Lucy suggested, which was everybody take a door. Which ergo split party. So, do we risk a possible party split or take a certain party split by Letty going back and trying a door, trying another path?
Let's say Poko is not in your arm.
Yeah, no, Letty would have set Poko down by now.
There is now a clear outline of where Poko should be, and you hear a door closing.
Oh,
hang
as
on.
Poko immediately goes through a door.
Here's a question, because this is very important. Which door is Poko going through? Let's call them doors 1, 2, 3, and 4, left to right.
Which one is the prettiest door?
I can give you a description of the doors.
Yes, do that.
No one has looked at the doors yet. So.
All right.
Give us the doorscription.
Hang on. No one's rolled investigation, so you only get a certain amount of details. I have to delete some stuff out of here. You would only get with a
roll
sufficient.
investigation.
Ditto.
Mm-hmm.
Being
Okay.
said, Poko is gone. Poko does not invest.
21.
Okay.
18.
I'm investigating the doors.
Yeah, I should probably roll investigation too. And look, my stats are back to normal, meaning I get to roll. Okay.
Okay.
We're making some good investigation.
Okay, 21, 18, 21. You get everything. So.
Yay!
Let's start. All the doors are wood, but door 3 is painted white. All the others are raw wood or just stains. You know, you can tell that they're wood. Door 3 is the only one that's painted. Door 1 has some fancy looking hinges. The doorknob is made of porcelain and it has a keyhole underneath the doorknob. Door 2 seems to be in a bit rougher shape. It's got some sort of stain at the bottom and the hinges are kind of rusted. So door 3, the painted one, also has a porcelain doorknob and a keyhole. And door 4 also has some fancy hinges, and you can hear a faint hum as you approach it.
Poko would have gone through door 3 because it's the prettiest one to her.
Okay. The door shuts behind her, and Poko is no longer in the room. She is in a small stone tunnel beyond it.
Quack, 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 quack.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
Please stay put and wait for the others to come find you. Okay.
Okay. Lucy's gonna go for door 4 with the hum.
Okay. Yeah, Lucy, You open the door, you walk through it, it shuts behind you, and you also find yourself in a little stone tunnel that quickly meets up with another stone tunnel, and yay, you and Poko are reunited.
Hey, kid.
Quick.
Good to see you. I was worried there for a second.
Letty's going to open door 2.
Okay, Letty opens door number 2 and walks through it. The door closes behind her, and then Letty walks in through the entry door to the room. So, yeah, as soon as Letty walked out of sight, the entry door to the room opened, and in walked Letty again. So you're back in the same room.
She's just going to say, I found the weird one.
And what about door number 1? Popsi's gonna he's gonna go through door number 1.
All right, Popsi opens door number 1, walks through, the door closes, and Popsi walks back in through the entry door.
Did you even chew that maple? What?
Meanwhile, over with Lucy and Poko, they're now having a tea party.
Yay! Yay!
Beloved. Oh my gosh.
Oh, wait, I get it. The door that's made for you. And Letty's going to think for a minute. Popsi, trade with me. You go through door 2, I'll go through door 1.
And okay, and Popsi's just gonna walk through a door.
Okay, Popsi's going through door 1, and Letty's going through... No. Popsi's going through door 2, and Letty's going through door 1. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, both of you walk out and find yourselves in your own small stone pathways that quickly join up, and you reunite with Poko and Lucy.
Hey, welcome. Welcome
I
back.
see. They were keyed into what our individual costumes were.
I just took the one that looked the prettiest.
That is entirely valid.
Well, I went for the hum, so
You're a mad scientist, it makes sense.
yeah, I guess so.
Drinks the imaginary tea.
Tea.
Very loud slurp noise.
Okay.
So, onward?
Let's go. And Lucy is going to return to her duties of duck carrying.
All right.
Oh, we haven't even eaten our imaginary crumpets yet.
That's okay. I think we can get some snacks later. Real ones.
Right. So you continue forward, the path widens back out, and you reach another intersection. So there is a path to your right, which is also pretty wide and strewn with rocks. You get the sense this is the path less traveled. Had you taken it, that's where it would have come out. And let me find my notes. So this tunnel has kind of, as you're walking, the stone walls of the tunnels around you begin to fade into dirt, packed dirt. And you can see a few small objects packed into the dirt. There's some broken tools, there's some dead plants, and as you come out into this dirt hallway, directly across from you is a large, very old and dusty looking cracked mirror. If you would like to take a look at that.
Investigation roll a go for the cracked mirror.
Yeah.
Zen, quick question.
Mm-hmm.
Can I pause in the hallway to steal one of the broken tools?
Roll strength, because it's buried into the wall.
I want to abduct it and fix it.
Can I help to give advantage?
Oh, you have Bardic
That's a
Inspiration.
4.
Yeah,
I
Bardic
can.
Inspiration's not gonna help.
I can. I'd rather give advantage right now by trying to help.
Okay, sure, you can give the help action.
Should I do it again?
Do it again. 7. Whirl, I will also say one of your abilities will give you advantage on a strength-based roll.
Oh
If you
yeah,
wanna
the
look at your
wind-up
sheet.
thingy.
Mm-hmm.
The wind-up thingy. Letty's going to pause, then think for a minute, and then she's going to tighten the wind-up key in her back using the special trait of the wind-up doll, which is all wound up. As a bonus action, tighten the wind-up key in your back to give your mechanisms additional power. Take advantage on your next strength-based roll, initiative roll, or physical attack. However, the additional power makes delicate operations difficult, so you will also take disadvantage on the next dexterity-based roll you make within 1 minute of taking this action. If a minute passes without any dexterity-based rolls being made, no disadvantage is incurred. I love that. You are so creative.
Thank
Can I
you.
roll again?
Yep, roll it again.
All right, 3rd time's the charm. That's an 11.
11. I'll say, I mean, it's not actively fighting you. I'd say after your 3 attempts, which have been progressively getting better, you've managed to work it out from the wall. And you have, I think, a pair of pliers that's kind of in 2 pieces for the most part. The screw that holds the 2 halves together has rusted away.
May I hold them?
Of course. And Letty is going to crouch down a bit because, again, she can't bend at the waist. That's where all the mechanisms are. So she's just going to kind of crouch down and hand the pliers to Poko.
Poko is going to cast mending on it. You do when you hear when you see Poko like really like trying to put this together with mending, you do hear the faintest noise of music, like music box type of like glockenspiel type of music coming out.
Aww.
As she like fixes this. At the very least, it's not rusted anymore.
Can mending undo rust?
I think mending would actually fix the screw, but I have something that can undo rust.
Yeah, I do mending, and it is now fixed enough.
It is now in one piece. It's still a little worse for the wear.
Leaving no trace of former damage.
Letty kind of holds a hand out and is like, "May I have them back real quickly?"
Puts it back in her hands.
And Letty is going to use the persistence of memory ability. I think that actually will work here.
It's not a magical item, it's just a regular pair of pliers, so you can set it back to when it was whole and new, or at least functional.
Yep, you restore something to its prime state as long as it's a non-magical object. So, ta-da! Shiny new pliers!
Yay! I'm also gonna go up to the mirror and try to mend it as well. If anybody could try to hold me up to the mirror.
Poko, you know what you must do.
I slap a mending
sweet.
on it.
Let's see. Let me check. It can physically repair. Okay. Okay, this is gonna be interesting. Okay, I have a few things that we need to handle in a first thing. So first, let's go back to Lucy and Popsi, who were investigating the mirror, correct? So, a 13 and a 12 respectively. Yeah, so what you notice, it's an old mirror, it's dusty, it looks kind of big, there's a crack in it. You can see your reflection in it for a few moments, and then you can't. And you can just see the reflection of the tunnel behind you.
That's weird. I don't like it.
And then, Poko, you're going to approach it to try and mend it?
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
Okay. So, Poko, you see your reflection in the mirror as you approach it, and then you don't see your reflection anymore. You reach out and touch the mirror and cast Mending, and the crack heals. And it's now a whole mirror. What's y'all's passive perception?
Passive perception. Let me just take a look.
I have no idea.
Mine is 17.
Okay.
Perception's 19.
So 17 for Luffy. Holy shit. Poko, you seem to have a very high passive perception as well. So yeah. I think how this works out, Lucy and Popsi, you're still very, that's weird. I wonder why the mirror did that. Lethy, you're less concerned with the mirror, and Poko, you just fixed it. And the two of you notice that you four aren't alone in the hallway anymore. There are 3 more people in the hallway with you that look very familiar.
Yeah,
Can we all
duck noises.
Can we all roll initiative?
Oh no! It's combat!
Oh boy!
Oh goodness.
Wait, why is there 3? Wait a
What is
second.
Well, only
initiative?
3 of you looked in the mirror, didn't you? Lethy didn't look in the mirror.
Yeah, no. Letty doesn't really do mirrors.
Uh-oh.
Oh good, oh good.
Okay, let me check initiative.
6.
I'm so happy. I'm 21.
Whirl, if you want it, you can take advantage on this because you just did the tightening thing. I know it says on the
Okay.
first one, but I'll let you. Okay.
23.
Holy shit!
Add a little gonna add a third strike to the times
Yeah.
Popsi has encountered a doppelganger. Actually, wait, no, it's 4.
How is it
Such
4?
a thing.
Hasn't he only been in 2 games?
Yes, he has only been in 2 games, but this is only counting his past stuff.
Oh,
you know?
true.
Yeah.
Oh heck.
Well, on the bright side, the reflections did not roll very well on their initiative. Okay, I should have gotten paper out. Oh my god, all my paper is literally packed away. Hang on, receipt. Here we go. Okay, so we have. This is gonna be a mess. 7 people in combat. Did I think this through? No. Where do we start rolling initiative?
Hey, at least it's not 8 people.
Yep. Okay. So 21, 11, 9, 23. So
I
Luffy
assume
goes
that
first,
these-
and then Lucy.
I assume that these doppelgangers have the same sort of stuff we do.
Oh, God.
I'm just picturing Dark Link right now. Now we got Dark Lucy. Dark
I'm
Poko.
I'm imagining you using our character sheets, but like they're evil now.
Yes.
Have
I'm
red
using
eyes.
your character sheets with tweaks. Okay. So,
How much?
Poko has a 9. And, oh wait, reflexive Poko.
Attacking spells. Joke's on her. She can't attack me because I can't attack generally.
Too baby to attack.
Okay. Let me write this out. Okay, I think I've got it now.
Do you think we might need to do this as a part 2?
We might, because we are running up on the end of the scheduled time, and the schedule is kind of tight today. So,
Oh dear.
Oh,
we might need to split this into 2 parts, if that's okay. Because this combat is not going to take 15 minutes, and is not the end of the game. So,
oh
It's okay. We're
And
gonna
maybe we should save it for part 2.
yeah.
Nothing else, 'cause then we get to draw kick-ass combat scene with our reflections and everybody else.
yeah.
I get to drop that Popsi in the meantime. Yay.
We will leave it here for part 1, with you guys facing off against your reflections for the most part in the hallway, except for Leffy, who did not look in the mirror. Very smart of her.
Leffy
then-
was too absorbed in the magic of, oh, new tool.
Too distracted by pliers to look in evil magic mirror. So yeah, and hopefully there will be a part 2 at some point, hopefully in the near future. But that's all for today then.
Yay.
Woot woot.
Thank you everybody who's listening, and thank you players for playing.
Thank you, DM, for DMing.
Yeah.
Zen is good
Okay.
egg.
I'm going to end the recording then.
Bye, everybody.
See you next week, or whatever.